We are about the smoothest transition we've had.
Well, we're getting there. We're squeezed together today. We're snuggly. We are, because of my table being full of crystal bowls here, we are sort of desperately squished together to make space. So Hi, Lauren. Good morning. So we're coming to you live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, of course. Women of Wellness here. Glad to be back. We took a hot minute off around the holiday. I did not realize that our next one was supposed to go live on the new year. Natalie goes, are we doing a live? I go, no. No, we're going to take some time off, actually. So we did. So we're back and excited to be here. So welcome in. Yeah. So we are all different angles. It's hilarious watching yourself in thrice here. We need to figure out the simulcast thing maybe, so we're not trying to talk to y'all out in space.
Yeah, my favorite is when I move from one of these over here to look at comments and we're like delayed on the comments.
So that's fun.
Yep. So I get to watch what I just did, which is never.
Right. Oh, and there's our ring light in the back. See, we're killing it. See, dudes here.
Killing it.
Look at our...
Here, it happened. Get it.
We'll sit like this so you don't have to look at our ring lights. So welcome in. We're glad you're here today. And so we are going to get rolling with our content of the day. The science of sound.
Yes.
Sonic healing. I'm super excited about this subject.
I'm excited about it too. I didn't know very much about it till this week because I was looking stuff up and it was very fascinating.
Oh, that's cool. I can't wait to hear what she learned. I just show up and do the things. I'm like, Natalie, why does this work? You go tell me how come this is a cool thing. And so, yes, I'm super excited for sharing a sonic blessing with you guys. Got my crystal bowls out here. What we're going to do is we're going to ask your patience because there's going to be a pause right before I'm going to do the singing bowl sound bath for you all, to allow me to get everything set up on the table. So I've got a handful of my bowls. I've got a gargantuan one. I've got to move over here. So there's going to be just a minute of transition. And Natalie's sort of going to like entertain while I get stuff ready. And then she's going to get comfortable so she can enjoy the sound bath as well. So that'll be at the very end of our visit today. So we're so like,
where are we?
There's a lot of headroom over there. A lot of headroom over there. Facebook over there. Hey, Facebook friends.
If you're tell your story.
If you're signing in, please say hey. Please say good morning. It's so nice to know who's here. And here's my question for you is, have you done any sound healing? Have you ever tried any? You know what? We'll roll with that. We'll roll with that.
Guys in the way. So, hey, there we go.
There we go. So please say hello. And like I said, let us know, have you ever engaged in doing any sound healing? And what's your experience of that? It's really fun to just talk about. I think one of the messages I'm quickly realizing I probably should have been saying for quite some time now is that all healing practices are not for all of us.
Oh gosh, no.
And so when I say that, I don't want to deter you from like joining us today because this is one of my favorite forms of healing. However, my daughter is like this. When I play.
Yes, but can I ask a question?
She's like this. Like it like cheeses her out.
Does she like music?
She does like music. So ironically, right, that's the spectrum too. See, good catch. Bitch, I know. I love you.
I know.
So the thing is that this is a very resonant, deep kind of vibration. Okay. So there's other subtler, if you will, formats of engaging in this. It's like I have my tuning ones. My tuning forks are super soft and they're subtle. I did a treatment with Natalie, and maybe Natalie could speak to that in a minute, what that experience is like, but it's a much subtler energy. For me, this is like being hit over the head. Sound bowls to me are like, whoa, and gongs are like incredible. And so that's why I love it, but it's something I love. So understand in our journey, it isn't that you're going to show up to every single one of these and be like, this is amazing. I hope you are. I hope you're as thrilled and excited to being exposed to this stuff. But my goal is just to give you guys a little bite-sized piece of something to determine if it's something that feels like it's a good fit for you in your journey.
And what I want you to understand is that there is actual science that supports why these things work. But just like aspirin doesn't work for some people, Tylenol does, and others say Tylenol never does a thing, but aspirin or ibuprofen is the thing when I'm feeling sore. Then this is the same. So medicine is unique in how the individual uses it and
exactly.
expresses it.
And that's exactly this is medicine of the soul, right? That's what healing modalities are, healing of the soul. And so take what works and ditch the rest. So by the end of today, when I'm playing for you for an extended period of time, one is we'll invite you to take a lie down or sit with your eyes closed. You don't have to watch me play. I mean, there's nothing, I'm just ding, ding, ding. I mean, like, it's not that, I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to break the myth. I'm not that interesting. But what I really want to invite you to do is to close your eyes and get comfortable and just have the experience. And like I said, for 2 minutes and you're like, ooh, like my daughter, turn it off.
And don't,
namaste. Like, no, I'm never offended. Like, that's totally fine. And so Natalie and I, like, we just want to bring you those little nuggets to try them and give it a shot out. Okay. So Lauren said something and I cannot see it. Yes, she did. So I think she said tried some sound healing in yoga.
Yeah, she said, good morning, you two badass girls.
Yeah, sorry, thanks. Sorry, we're supposed to be able to see it on Natalie's little jam over here. You can see how that is going. Yes. So we're working on it here.
She's done a bit of sound healing in yoga class, but she's super intrigued.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I had a niece that worked for a company. I thought this was really super cool. As part of their care package, you could go and do massages and sound healing. I was like, what? This is Madison, Wisconsin, you guys. I'm like, that is so freaking cool. Like, that's so progressive. Yeah. I'm like, can I work for your company? I mean, like, they were literally all about yoga and meditation and sound baths. And I was like, that is so cool. This company gets it.
Yeah.
This company understands that the more you like kind of insulate and love your people, the more that they will show up and work for you and do a great job. And so I was like, that's so smart. And I love when I find companies that do this stuff. So cool. Okay. How did I get your friend interest? Some of our experiences. Oh my God. So a couple of ones that really resonate for me that are hilarious, but interesting was the first time I ever did a sound bath in my life was at Yoga Center a long time ago. And I invited Zach, and I think he went with me to the first one. I'd never been. And my husband, I want you guys to understand for reference, I don't know who you imagine I'm married to. He's soft-spoken, so practical, so engineer, problem solving, mechanical. So I'm going to say that the fact that he loves me is probably somewhat sort of a miracle, because we're like right brain and left brain 100%. Okay.
You make a good couple.
We do. We balance each other out, but it was so great. He's so amazing and supportive. And so he went with me, and we're in this room, and you're doing a little breath work and a little bit of movement. But finally, they have you like, lie down on your mat, cover up with a blanket, super squishy, cuddly, lower the lights real dim. And this woman was actually playing a gong, which is so cool. And so here we are in the dark. And I'm just wondering the whole time, I'm like this. Looking at my husband. What are you doing over there? Yeah. I'm thinking he probably thought, what have I fallen into? What am I doing in here? And so that was the coolest experience, because in that space, you could, as she's playing the gong, and I'm not an expert, but as you play the gong in different locations, obviously the pitch and the tenor is different. And so it was the first time in my life I've ever sat in a space where I could feel sound, other than in my car, to my rap music, embarrassing my daughter when I go places. Okay.
There you go.
Other than that, this was the first time I ever had an experience where I actually felt sound, and I thought it was magic, like mystical. Yeah. Like I was like, man, if you were tripping, and I'm not encouraging it, but if you were tripping and came in here, you would be on another planet. It is transcendent. And so you can feel the vibrations crossing over your body. And as they go up and go down, there's a sense of almost the sound waves passing through your body, which I know sounds almost creepy, but it's actually really lovely. I find it lovely. It's just a whole different
thing. It's like, so a lot of the science talks about just the wave science, period. And light comes in waves, vibration comes in waves, sound comes in waves, and energy is in all things, right? It's all the same. And so it's moving the same molecules to create the same reverberations. Yeah. And sound, if it gets, that big basically, and is moving as much molecules as you can, will have an impact on your physicality as much as your inner ear.
It's so cool. Okay, so that was the first one where I was laughing more because I thought my husband probably wanted to die just a little bit in his soul sitting next to me. He was a very good sport. Actually seemed to enjoy it, I'm just going to say. But so we're going to kind of get to that deeper sound today in a little bit in my court singing bowls I've got sitting all over the table here. The other one that's hilarious, and I love telling, so I am also in a drum circle, and the first drumming experience I ever had was at a practice where I was working for a little while. I was trying to do yoga. And it was a practice where they didn't really have it, and it was just a weird time, and it just it wasn't the company or anything about anything. It just didn't mesh the way we really wanted it to. But I went to one of theirs. They were like, we're having a drumming, and invite your friends. So I bring my friend Deb, who if is watching this will laugh her tail off. And she's pretty conservative. Like, she's not in a bad way. Like, she's much more practical. Like, she was kind of like rolling with me and wanted to check out the practice. So we show up to this place, and there's all these things in the center of the room. It was like music time. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Did anybody do this?
Like when we were in grade school.
Yes, in like third grade, and there was like the chime and the
I always wanted the cymbal.
And the ring frog sound.
Yes. And there's this really cool maraca thing that you would go back and forth, but it it had like the little drum beat things. Yeah, I know that was super technical. Kathy Croning-Smith would be rolling right now. My music teacher right now on the planet. It's like, oh my God. And so that's kind of what it was like. So there's all these, drums and tambourines and drum, like drummer, like things. And it's a free for all. And we have never done this in our lives. So here I pick up this kind of tambourine looking handheld drum. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, and it was like, I'm like peeking at Deb. Oh Lord, I'm sorry, Deb. Because I can roll with the woo. I'm like, I can totally roll with it. I was uncomfortable in that saying something. I was uncomfortable. I thought, oh my God, I don't know what the hell we're doing here. But okay, we're in it. People are, and they just start going. And I don't know, making up a beat as I go. But here's what's cool. So I want to talk about this as uncomfortable. Talk about step outside your comfort zone. OMG. We barely know anyone in the room, okay? Like, we're like, people are laying on the floor. They're putting bowls on their bellies. They're banging. People are over each other. I was like, what is happening? And by the end, though, so it took a while. And here's where I wanted the lesson of this one, even though it's hilarious, because I'll never forget as long as I live. I'm like, Deb will probably never speak to me again, but she did. But here's what I would tell you. You have to get out of your head about this stuff. And that was what it was. The lesson for me was I was so in my head, in my ego about like, am I looking like a doof? Am I sounding like a doof? Am I playing like a doof? I don't know what I'm doing. And so really by the end, the beautiful thing is that it rose up the sound. Okay. And it's like kind of cacophonous a little bit. And then it sort of like gels into this really cool trance-like energy. And so I was like, this was amazing. So then I found another person who was doing drumming and I joined them. Well, I'm thinking it's free for all format. Well, I get there and she's like, well, I need to train you. And I'm like, train me? This is my face. What? Train me? Like, I train me to do this.
I can hold a thing and make a sound. Yeah, I can
do that.
No, friends, no, that drumming circle actually is like African sound. Which is super cool. So you do have to kind of go in, and what she was doing was sharing the basics with me. So I didn't show up to class, everybody be like, what? So cool, totally different. And again, there is energy in that space being generated. It is so beautiful. And so get out of your heads about it, right? This is my biggest advice is like, when it comes to healing modalities, our egos can get, we're like, I'm going to look weird. I'm going to sound weird. I'm not going to know what I'm doing. Here's the deal, friends. No one knows what they're doing when they start. Yeah. Right. Every single thing.
And I always come from the posture, obviously, of stay curious. Stay curious about what's working about this. Stay curious about what it will do for me. Again, to go back to the aspirin or Tylenol analogy, like some stuff works for us, some stuff doesn't. Exactly. But like these crystal bowls, if you start to look online about crystal bowls and research about them, mostly Indian in influence or Eastern in influence. There's other singing bowls and Eastern influence as well that are metal, use of water, all sorts of things. Cool. You're talking about a drum group that was going into more of the African origins of the drumming. Right. Native Americans have,
that's a huge piece of their ceremony. And
and so it isn't an accident that all of these cultures across time for millennia have been using this. Exactly. And I think that just stay curious about that. It might work for you. It might not work for you. Exactly. It's okay. Yes. Just stay curious about it and try and learn a little bit of what works, why it works, how it works, because that might influence how you might take it and use it for yourself. That's why I'd asked you about your daughter. Yes. Music therapy is a real deal. And people, we adore music.
So much. much.
And
So
and people use it medicinally without thinking that they're using
that's
it
exactly
medicinally.
right. Yes, therapeutically.
And that makes sense to them because it has rhythm and it has
Words. And
Yes.
there's all kinds of layers.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
So this is more of that androgynous sound, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's definitely just something to stay curious about. It's not going to work for you. Not everything does, but stay
Yes.
curious about it because it's kind of fun to find out
It
what's
is.
kind of happening inside your body
Yes.
as these sound waves are coming your way.
So cool. So we want to talk about just those ideas and the silliness, right? I bring to you guys always, I think one of the things that I talk about a lot is everything is awkward and weird until you do it. And I'm not kidding. In every step of my journey of wellness, it's been like, I would never chant. Now I love it. That singing, well, that's weird. Now I love it. I mean, like, so all the things that you can see from the outside looking in that feel and look strange, when you begin to try to practice them and you actually have an experience and you're like, oh, this is magic. No wonder all these, weird people are doing this stuff. Because it's amazing. So that's what I would say is that just make space for that I know I have felt weird too. And I think that's so important. We understand that, like, making space for, I get the head part of the weirdness of this.
Yeah.
Try this. Try coming less from this really heady intellectual space into the heart space, because I think that's where it kind of hits us the most. And then we begin to see the connection between the two. But I think if we step into it, it's like, boy, this looks weird. No, I'm going to sound weird. No, I'm doing. You're going to lose the energy of it. So take the ego and put it outside. Come into your heart. Give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's cool. So ways to have this experience. So we talked about different kinds of options for music that were important. So chanting is one. Chanting is music, friends. Got it. Chanting is music. Beautiful. Sound baths, like what I'm going to do, gongs, crystal bowls, the metal Tibetan bowls that you'll see a lot that people will use in yoga. Beautiful. Drumming. I already mentioned it. Love, love, love. If I was a more talented drummer, I would get in here and do it for you guys, but I sort of get into it and then I kind of suck. And so it would not be healing for you guys. What I would love is to share actually the group doing it once, but I'd have to ask all of their permission to share it with you. So that would be super cool for you guys to see what it looks like when everyone's together. Really cool. Listening to music, as simple as listening to music that you love. Does anybody else here love music? Me too. It is so in my soul. I sing, I dance, all the things. For me, music has been such a crucial part of my wellness journey from the time I was a kid. I don't remember not loving to sing. And as a kid, I remembered wanting to be able to sing.
Just as an aside, Jen had this wonderful retreat at the top of the year, Revise, EYES, and I participated. And she did a chakra dance during that.
Oh, so good.
So the chakra music that she had chosen was Australian based, and it had I'm not going to say it right, didgeridoo, I think
that's what you say. Yeah.
Was the main instrument. So I've played it a couple times and gotten Victoria to dance with me, my almost 6-year-old. Oh my gosh. You know what? I should video it.
You totally should.
Spectacular.
You totally should.
That girl is all over the place.
It is like interpretive dance on steroids. And that's how it's meant to be. And that's the cool thing, is taking that sound, and it's not someone singing. It's sound, and it's various things connected to your chakras. But really the sound is so beautiful. And so it varies for every chakra. Yeah. And so your movement sort of matches what you're doing. And I was like, do I do this in the retreat? I was like this, even the day I was like, yes, just say yes.
Yes.
Every woman was in there jamming. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. The only thing that would have made it better is us around a fire together.
I know.
Legit. The only thing that would have made it better was just us being together around a campfire. Because I'm telling you what, magic. So that's exactly it. It's like cool. Music in all formats, my friends, is so healing and soothing. I said sitting in nature, which I know sounds funny, but it's just taking in. That is sound therapy. Listening to the insects, the birds, the snow falling on the ground, rain, thunderstorms. It's why we have recordings of it on white noise machines. I mean, there's a reason, right? It's healing, it's soothing. So even those things, just pausing and listening is so important. So I'm going to let Natalie take it away in one sec. I do want to tell you guys about the practice before we roll in, because I don't want to forget this. Is I said what I'm going to do is at the very end, we're going to do this practice and we're going to close when we're done. I'm not going to come in. We're going to have a soft close. That's what I do in Yoga Nidra. So I'm teaching classes where we're going to let you rest and get at peace. The last thing I'm going to do is so we're coming back up and we're going to be doing blah, blah, blah. No, no. Oh. we're going to let you stay in a place of peace, my
That's
friends.
right.
So I just want to let you guys know that will be closing a little bit differently today than we normally would. We'll just end when the sound bath is over. We'll come over and we'll turn everything off, but you are welcome to stay in a beautiful, peaceful place.
Yes.
And I hope it resonates.
Oh, it's going to be lovely.
If you hate it, it's
If
okay.
you have headphones, like close your eyes,
Yes.
listen to it. Just give yourself the, I don't know, 10 minutes, whatever it is,
10, 15.
and just soak it in and be curious.
Just be
Notice what
curious.
happens to you internally as you're experiencing it.
Yes. And so I'll try to talk you through this, but I do want you to take a little snapshot of how you feel before we start it. And then when we're done, take a snapshot again. So the cool thing is always when you're doing a practice or a journey is pause for a minute to notice. There's a huge money bag in noticing where we're at. So pause and you'll just take a couple of breaths. And you just kind of like, okay, where am I at? How am I feeling? And then we'll do the practice. And at the end, again, do yourself and us a favor. Check in again and just be curious. Just notice, is there any shift?
And comment, anything? You guys, we would love to hear kind of what your experiences are with us.
For sure, let us know. So that's kind of what we hope to do. So Natalie, take it away.
Okay.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. So I haven't really researched the science of sound healing. Not much anyway, up until just this week, because I had to, because this is what we were going to do. And I was like, okay, let me look at this. So one of the principles is a basic physics principle. I've heard you talk about this before, but essentially when more than one noise or rhythm energetically is happening in a space, and so that can be vibrational, but it also can be sound or light. The space is going to diffuse to kind of make everything be equal. That's what it'll always try to come into this middle ground. And you know this concept to be true. I'm sure you've seen it in different ways. The best way I can describe it is because I'm a visual person. Like if you put dye or something in a glass of water, right? Then over time, it just filtrates into the whole space, right? So the molecules even it out. Sound is no different. So if you've got, like a cricket chirping outside and then another one starts, then all of a sudden you start to notice the cacophony that starts to happen outside, cicadas, one is not going to be going with the other instantly, but over time they all kind of migrate into one another. So the molecules internally in our bodies are going to try to align externally with what the sound is bringing us. And so it is actually both vibrational and in sound. So it's what you're hearing, but it's also what your body is feeling. And so if your body is at an agitated state, it's in a high beta wave state and it's in your brain. This is the sympathetic nervous system response that I've talked about before. So this is fight or flight, right? And sound is going to try to get it into the lower beta waves, which is still being aware and being in the present, or into alpha waves where it's more internally present, or if we're lucky, into kind of a gamma state. And gamma waves are these magnificent, the way they talked about it in the literature was like they're super conscious. It's your super consciousness, or for psychologists would be kind of the super ego kind of idea. But what they found as they've researched more about these waves is that Tibetan monks, kind of the elite athletes of mindfulness and meditation. So we're talking about, monks, we're talking about people that have meditated for their entire lifetime. They've hooked them all up to a bunch of wires. They've watched their brains go, and they have this capacity to be in a gamma state almost instantly, in meditative state, and stay in that state more often. For the lowly human like myself, not so much. I'm in beta quite a bit. I'm always looking out here and scanning, and then sometimes I get a little alpha because I'm going to be internally oriented as well. And of course, there's others like delta and theta, which go with sleep and kind of the dream state or the deep sleep state that the brain can be in. So what we're trying to achieve with these singing bowls is to get you in that gamma wave state, so that meditative state, without ever trying to consciously bring that meditative state in. The waves themselves are going to even out so that that's what's happening for you. And in particular, singing bowls, bells, things that have an androgynous sound. So not a beat, not a rhythm, not, not refrain and, go back to the verses refrain. It doesn't have any kind of, variant in it, but it's just an androgynous same sound, can do that, of course, much easier because it stays the same outside. So it's going to keep calling you to stay the same as it and to come into that spot. Mm-hmm. So I was fascinated.
That's cool.
Truly fascinated by what I learned. And it really is both vibrational and sound. So it isn't just the sound. If that's why I was saying, if you have headphones, put them on today, because you will get a little bit more of that sense. Your body will feel that resonance a little bit more today, since we're on the interwebs, rather than being in the actual space. But molecules are molecules. So as soon as she hits that bowl, it resonates into the universe. Mm-hmm. So it's both in my ear and in my body, whether I choose to want it to be or not. That's what it's going to do. Exactly. The other thing that I got off on a tangent, no surprise there, that I went down some sort of TED Talk rabbit hole. And the other thing that I found that I think is really interesting is research has shown as a healing agent that it has so much more power to use wave-based healing agents. So sound, light, energy, movement, than it is to use chemical. And the reason being that a chemical transformation in our body releases heat. So I'm talking about the aspirin. You get a headache, you take an aspirin. In order for it to do what it does, there's a chemical change that occurs in your body, and chemical change lets off heat. And in science, heat is actually a wasted energy in that process. So, if you take this dose and then it has this much heat energy that's generated, decreases the effectiveness by that much. And so they're dosing basing on what will be the therapeutic endpoint, right?
Yeah, right.
All the way to sometimes chemical changes in our body are only about 3% effective from the actual introduction of the first thing so the pill going into your mouth or ingesting food or whatever it is. But energy doesn't dissipate at all. Like you get 100% of what's coming in your body, unless you're introducing some other kind of damper. So if you hit this bowl and then you put your hand on the side, then it stops the energy because your hand energy then absorbs some of that energy. So there are ways that it could dampen, obviously, but you essentially can get 100% of the effective energy. So
that's cool.
The research around, it was fascinating. The research around they've created sonic kind of pointed sound. I don't even know what to call it, but they basically focus sound on a tumor, and it can obliterate a tumor within weeks. It was fascinating. Benign or cancerous tumors that can't be surgically removed. And I knew about it with light energy. My mom passed away from cancer, and that was one of the treatments that we tried, was a light laser focused into, which essentially is kind of what radiation is, but this was a different technology altogether. So I don't know. It was fascinating. I went on a little bit of a
but I love that kind of thing. That's cool. So that's neat to me. And that's information that, again, what I think is really neat is marrying up those ideas of the things that sound so kind of mystical and weird and things like that to us. But really, there's this incredible bit. Here's the thing I always say. I think this is so interesting to me. For as weird as it sounds, these modalities have been around forever. So
that's what to stay curious about. Cultures across this globe have figured this out.
It can't be wrong if it has endured this long, given our technology growth. Think about that. There isn't a technology to this day and age that can I think reproduce the same idea in the same way.
Right.
And so what I would invite you to do for our journey in a minute when we get there is to imagine, if you can, to incorporate this idea. So when you get all settled, and I'll give you a minute and I'll walk you through kind of just getting settled, and I'll set an intention for the practice. And so you'll watch me doing weird stuff over here, but don't watch me because you don't need to, but just know that I'll be doing weird stuff over here on my end in preparation. But what I invite you to do is not just to listen, to feel the vibration, which is cool. So listening, feeling the vibration, and you might even allow in your mind the visualization of what you think it looks like. There's something really cool and powerful in your mind's eye to go in and allow a visual of what this might appear to be. And so I don't want to say too much about it, because what I don't want to do is feed you something that then you have an experience, because I kind of, suggested it might happen. There's no right or wrong with this, but allow yourself to just have the experience and allow that to flow and imagine what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you when we're done today, because that's cool. So, and again, you're also welcome to leave we would love, comments, anything, thoughts that you have after we're done with practice as well. But how can you seek this out, right? So the other thing is, we always want to talk about too, like, okay, so you talked about this mystical, magical stuff. Where do I get it? So one thing is YouTube, you guys. Honestly, if you go out and look on YouTube, there's going to be tons of stuff on, singing bowls and things like that. Sound healing, can definitely do it there. Classes are great. I consider what I do when I do drumming as a class that I take. It's just beautiful to sit in community with people doing this. There is something really beautiful. The technology piece is a little off-putting only from that part, because there is something really healing too about sitting in circle with people, right? And having this community experience and connection. But classes are really lovely. So live classes that you can take would be perfect for this. Insight Timer, I know I sound like a big broken record, but Insight Timer actually has people now doing live classes, and there's sonic healing, and they're all there's music people create, sound baths. You can find something for, anybody in there. So there's so many good resources within that. I'd strongly recommend that as well. And nature, I said, you guys go sit in Mother Nature, build yourself a bonfire. I know for us in the Midwest here, it's winter, it's chilly outside.
And try to notice that principle of the sounds equalizing out in your own environment, because it does happen. It does. A little bit harder in the middle of winter than it is at other times, but still, like even birds chirping, they start to come into harmony with one another.
Yep. And so taking that experience in, right? So paying attention to the experience viscerally inside, to the sound in your ears, to the visual of like what is happening around you. Super powerful stuff. So it's just as simple as going for a walk or sitting in nature for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you guys. There's all sorts of cool things that we can kind of tap into pretty easily, actually.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so offerings, things coming up. We want to do that because then we're going to get into our sound healing.
Yes.
Why you all probably are like, come on, get to the things, guys. So we're going to get there in a minute. I'm going to let Natalie talk about her course in a second. I am in Yoga Nidra already. I have a Yoga Nidra series going for the 4 agreements, which is epic and amazing. We're doing that. And then I am also on Insight Timer. So Insight Timer, what I'm doing is live meditations. Right now I'm in a series on connection for 4 weeks. I did the first one last week, which was epic. Come and join us. There are people from all over the world sitting with you in practice. There was people from Europe and New Zealand and Canada, like all over the globe. So if you want a cool connected experience, drop an Insight Timer and share time with us on Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, my time here. 8 a.m. we start your week off right with setting that intention and tone. And so I will be doing live Insight Timers as well as just downloading. I just downloaded a few new meditations as well, just for perpetuity. You can go and listen anytime. Those lives are
What's the easiest way to find you on Insight Timer, Jen? It's Laughing Lotus Wellness.
Laughing Lotus Wellness, right? So I would go in, and what I would recommend is finding me. You can search and you can find me and then follow. And then what will happen is when you go in, like on a Monday morning, though, what you'll see is at the top of the app, I'm guessing it's going to look pretty similar no matter what you're on. There's going to be live people up top, you'll see. Okay. And so I will go in and be live at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. And it's cool. You guys, I'm telling you, last week I was lit up, man. I 2 days, I was like blissed out. One, it was just such a good meditation, but the coolest experience to connect with people from around the world. Everywhere. It was magic. Yeah. So I really invite you in. That's another really fun area. I'm going to try to do Monday mornings. And so for sure this coming Monday, join us whenever you get a chance and take a shot at seeing what that's like for you. And tell us about your course you've got rolling.
Yep. So my subscription program opened January 1. And you can go to learntoloveyourstory.com, top right corner. You just click on the Learn to Love Your Story personal development program. You can learn about it. You can watch my video that explains a little bit about it, and you can register. But on Monday, the class will start essentially. And I have every week kind of a series of videos, some audio files to do some practices, and some written material in the course room along with the workbook that you have that you follow along with. And then in the 4th week of the month, I also will do a WebEx. And so that will get posted in learntoloveyourstory.com and on all of my social media for Natalie Marr. And I would really encourage that you hop over there and at least check out the video. I am so excited about this. I've been blasting all of my social media about it, but you guys, I have put so much into this. This is a course that would be hundreds of dollars. I did a little too much. However, good for you. You don't have to pay that.
Exactly. Right.
So go on over and check out kind of some of the material so that you have a good idea. Also, if you go to my blog from January 1st, so my New Year's blog is New Year, New You, you can also get some free gifts. I have a little bit of the workbook and one of the audio files with a mindfulness body scan practice, which is just a basic mindfulness practice.
Nice.
So go over there and at least get your free stuff, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it
Love
starts
free
on
stuff.
Monday, though. We are excited
Hit
to
the
have
ground
you.
running. That's
Mhm.
awesome. You guys, her content is so good. So if you're looking to do something like this, it is worth the investment as always. So I strongly recommend it. So, all right, friends, what we're going to do, we're going to pause. We're going to get you all situated. So now is the time while Natalie is going to try to help us get sort of situated. I'm going to get the bowls set up. Again, you don't have to watch me, friends. I know it's fascinating and it's cool to see it. Like if you guys want to, like I get it, like peek an eye and kind of just check it out first. Here's what I'll tell you. This is the cool stuff. I only had 2 for the longest time of these singing bowls, and I brought them to swim team to do their end of season where I was doing more meditative, mindfulness exercise.
Was rolling her eyes.
Well, she was. However, here's the thing, guys. Right, so I was saying, I don't know if any of these kids are gonna like this. Right, this is real weird. But I'm whatever. I'm gonna try it. Right. So I do it, and they're all just in the zone. Right, super cool. And they come out, and they're like, and somebody said to me, Jen, can I try that? Almost every single teenager in that group got up, and I made everybody else lay down. I go, everybody lay down again, lay down. So and so get up and come in, the ding ding ding, and then they roll, and then somebody else be like, I want to do it. So I go have that person lay down again. So what I want to say to you guys is that this stuff is so much more accessible than we think. And even when I've paused and I've been like, oh, is this too weird to no, like I'm glad I've trusted my instincts and allowing people to have these experiences and journeys because they might not otherwise be exposed to it. Look at how old I was before I was ever exposed to this stuff. Yeah. And if I can start that journey for anybody a little bit earlier in your life and you'd have these tools even sooner, I'm like, that fires me up. So teens loved this, right? So, I mean, I think that's really kind of cool because they're the most finicky, challenging to kind of get with people, like population sometimes. Loved it. So this is not just for adults. It's not just for 46-year-old women. It's for everybody, right? This really, truly can be for anybody. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Get cozy while we make adjustments here. We'll figure out the best way we can to get you guys plugged into the sound meditation. Like I said, if you get quiet for a minute, take stock of where you are, take stock of how you're feeling, what you're bringing in today, right? Check your energy, and then do it again at the end. So that's all you got to do. Otherwise, you guys get to sit back and just enjoy this sound bath, this healing sound bath. All right, guys. All right. Shall we?
We shall.
We shall. We shall. So forgive us for a minute while we make adjustments, if you will. My plant's poking me here. This out of the way. What I don't know what to do is with that bad boy. That's going to be
I'm thinking if you pull your stuff in here, what we really should do is pull this here and just kind of go that way with it, maybe.
I think it's going to compete with the bowls.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know, right? She's like, oh, good. Oh, God, that's right on the edge there.
Yes, it
that
is.
Would have been not great. The other option would be, oh, Lord, see, this is what's happening. This is what's happening.
I can just hold it.
Oh.
So sorry.
You know what? Let's grab a chair.
Okay.
Because I think if we set this here, because I don't want you to have that sucks for you. So here, let's maybe back here, Natalie.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think we could set let's try this. Sorry, friends. I know you're like, what in the what? Okay.
You want it on the table mostly, right?
Yeah. They don't care about me. I mean, you care about me, but you know what I mean? You don't care about me. All right. Can everybody see? I'm just making sure that something is
this and this.
All right. So again, friends, just finding a comfortable space, right? I want you to be really comfy and cozy. So because you're going to be laying here for a little bit, I do encourage like a blanket if you need one, because I like that kind of thing. I like being super cozy. All right. So I'm missing one because it broke in transit, of course.
Of course it did.
I know, right? So I'm waiting on my last really big root chakra one, but in the meantime, we've got enough to roll with here. Where's my one? There it is. It's like I'm missing something. All right, so there we go. We're almost ready here. What? Do this guy over here. Just trying to spread them out. So you'll see in a minute that I'm going to end up moving around quite a bit to do this. So this way there's plenty of space. Okay. Cool. Oh, you see, like I'm like headless.
Well,
awkward.
Is that better?
Yes. No, that's fine. Don't
Okay.
even sweat. Like I said, I could care. They don't have to see me. I just wanted to be able to. There we go.
Okay.
Look at that. That looks lovely.
Awesome.
The YouTube version's lovely.
Well, then let's
Instagram's
just...
a little bit like lacking because it's like you guys are itsy bitsy.
Do you want me to lay down or sit down?
Dude, I like laying down. Grab a blanket. Grab that blanket. I'm sorry. I'm letting Natalie get cozy because Natalie gets to have. She gets to have sound healing too, friends.
Of course I do.
So I have 6 of the 7 bowls here. And what I think I might do is I think I'm going to allow some time and space for you guys to just experience kind of one at a time for a minute to start. Just to have that. Natalie, did you have a term that you used I liked about something? Like what?
Androgynous.
Androgynous. I'm going to I can't say that word for some reason right now. I just want you guys to have that experience first because that won't be the whole thing. I will end up going through and playing different ones at different times and using different kind of modality to play.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, I want to give you guys that opportunity to just kind of sit in the sound, right, to start with. And so getting comfortable, closing your eyes. Now is the time I should.
You let me know if I need to come over to.
Girl, you are just going to zone out. That's your only job. Is to
bliss out over here.
That's right. Bliss out. You have an experience. I'll be over here. Here we go. Okay.